Next, I read Revolution by Jennifer Donnelly, and this is a YA novel about a girl who ends up in Paris, and she finds a diary while she's there from, I think, the 1700s, and she finds that she really has this connection with the girl who was writing the diary. So this girl really gets lost in this diary and the story behind it, and it's just a really cool adventure. The thing I have to say about this book, though, is that I liked the historical part of this book, and I actually preferred it over the modern time part of this book. It's not that the part that was set in modern day was bad necessarily, but it wasn't as good. I feel like if it was just set in the modern time, I don't think I would have enjoyed it as much. So, with that said, take of that what you will and decide if you want to read it. I would recommend trying it if it sounds interesting to you. I gave this 4 stars. Next, I read Of Mice and Men by John Steinbeck, and this is kind of my first classic really that I've read. I mean, I read a couple in school, but I guess this was my first classic that I've read willingly, so it's kind of special to me in that way. And I really enjoyed this, and I was kind of surprised by it, pleasantly surprised. If you don't know, which I'm sure most of you know what this is about, but I did not know before I picked it up. This is about 2 men. They work on plantations and farms and things, and they kind of travel to different places to find work, and they have to travel more than they probably need to because one of the main characters gets into quite a lot of trouble. Something that was so special about this book was the characters and the 2 main characters and their friendship. It was just beautiful, but it was also tragic. This is one that I definitely know that I will pick up again. So this is a quick read. I literally read this in a couple of hours. There's no reason for you to not pick this up and try it, so definitely do. Next, I read Peter Pan by JM Barrie. I was actually a little disappointed by this book. Don't hate me. I love the storyline of Peter Pan, and I absolutely adore the Disney version, but the original was just kind of strange and hard for me to get through. Like, I felt like I was forcing myself to read this book, so I actually got to, like, I don't know, page 80 and stopped reading and then just kind of browsed through the ending. So if you love Peter Pan and you've never read the original, I would still recommend trying it, but for me personally, I didn't enjoy it. There were just some things about it that I'm like, is this really appropriate for kids? Like, there was an orgy that was just casually mentioned, and in a couple of the illustrations, the mermaids don't have any shirts on. So that's a little strange. But aside from that, I really do love the illustrations. I think that they're gorgeous, and that was actually one of my favorite parts of the book. I'm just going to show you a couple here that I really liked. This one right here I love. So they're really beautiful illustrations. I'm not knocking them or anything, but it just seems sometimes a little inappropriate for children, I guess. I'm not saying it's terrible. Sometimes I felt like it was really beautifully written, and yeah. Then I read Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret by Judy Blume. I really wanted to read some Judy Blume books in 2013, so I'm really glad I got to this, and I really enjoyed it. This is about a girl named Margaret who is kind of learning to become a young woman. She's starting middle school, and she just has to learn things about herself, and she doesn't know where she stands with religion, and she has to deal with family issues and body issues, and it's just perfect for every little girl to read. So highly recommend this for girls who are about 11, 12, 13, that age. Even if you're not young and you still want to check it out, Are you serious? Let's pretend like that did not just happen. Okay. So I don't even know what I was saying. Even if you aren't young and you still want to read this, definitely still try it. The last book I read this month was The Replacement by Brittany Ovenoff. This is about a town called Gentry, and they have creatures lurking in the night, very creepy creatures. The people in the town have just kind of learned to turn the other way because they believe that these things are protecting them. The main character is one of these creatures. He's a changeling, and usually the changelings are meant to die within a couple of months because they're not meant to survive with all the iron and all of that is in the world. But Mackie, our main character, is one of the very rare cases where he actually survives, and so that's all I'm gonna say. God, again with the terrible synopsis. But this book is dark and creepy, and I really like it because it's on the verge of horror, but I can't stand full-on horror because I get way too scared. So this is like the perfect amount of creepy for me, where I can completely handle it and not be scared and still enjoy the darkness of it. I really enjoyed this book, and I'm just really loving Brittany Ovenoff's work. Her first book, well, this was her first book, but the first book of hers that I read was The Space Between, and I loved it. I loved this one as well. I can't wait to get her newest one, which is Paper Valentine. So yeah, I highly recommend this book and The Space Between as well. I gave this one 4 stars, so really liked it. So that is it for the books that I read in March. I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.